Salvador now eliminated from the tournament. Here is the Group A standings up to date with Brazil 4-0. They're locked into the #1 spot. What's left to decide here is who will finish second. With a win, Canada will be in second. The Dominican Republic can finish higher than fourth, but they have a lot of work to do. We'll explain that as time goes on here this afternoon. Well, Kelsey, we'll get an opportunity to meet both teams here in a second. First, the Dominican Republic about to run through the tunnel, and in AmeriCup play, this is their 12th appearance here in the AmeriCup. They've never won a medal, but they now know that they're locked into the quarterfinals on Friday, and this could be step one to them finally getting to the podium.
I mean, yeah, they've seen success lately, too. Silver at last year's Central Buck Women's Championship, the best result in 22 years. And a lot of the core back from that team. They've had a lot of different players step up in their three first games, with Capian, of course, leading the way in scoring. But then you have Johanna Martin also in that last game against Brazil, as you see her coming out of the tunnel there. She was the leading scorer in that game, and it's been interesting to watch just because of how well-rounded this team is and who's able to step up versus which team. And now they have a big battle against Canada with a lot of implications going into seeding into the knockout round.
Yeah, Dominican Republic already doing better than they did the last time the AmeriCup rolled around. They finished in 10th place in 2023, weren't able to walk away from Mexico with a win. They had a win in their first game against El Salvador here, and that's the reason why they have secured their spot in the knockout stage. For head coach Alberto Zavaleta, the Cuban native, who has this team thinking about a bigger prize at the end of things. And this game right here could be a momentum builder for them as they head to the quarterfinals. Now, if they finish in fourth, where they are sitting in fourth right now, that means a date with Team USA in the quarterfinal game. Canada, on the other side, need a win here to finish in second spot as they get introduced to the crowd here. And for Team Canada, the only team here at the AmeriCup that has participated in every single Women's AmeriCup. They have the experience, they've been here before, they've done it. This is a team that's continuing to gel here in pool play.
Yeah, for sure. A young squad for Team Canada, and you mentioned it. They were third in the last AmeriCup back in 2023 in top form, qualifying for the last 4 Olympics, and coming off 2 wins against El Salvador and Argentina, and that tough loss against Brazil. And I mean, even when you look at the loss, Carlin, they stayed with the reigning champs for 3 quarters, just 5 points in that 4th quarter. And so, you know, they went back, watched the tape, and they're coming here to play today. They want that second spot locked in.
And Coach Nell Fortner with her first opportunity to coach Team Canada's senior national team at a major tournament. And we'll look to bounce back from the loss against Brazil with a win here this afternoon. We'll pause now for the play of the national anthems. final game of Group A, moments away from tip-off between Canada and the Dominican Republic. A Canadian win, they lock in the second spot in Group A, and that would mean a date with Puerto Rico. The Dominican Republic have work to do. They can't just win this game. They got to win by at least 20 points to get all the way up to second place. If they win by at least 10 points, they can finish third. Any loss or win by 9 or less would keep them in fourth. The three officials on your screen right there are in charge of keeping this match in check. Some of the best here in the Americas. Imera, the crew chief, Osario Vargas, and Garcia Villamil from Uruguay, Chile, and United States. Starting five for the Dominican Republic. You mentioned off the top, Capeyen, one of the best scorers here in the Americas and in this tournament, averaging 16.3 points per contest, and is going to be the key to try and slow this Dominican offense down if Canada can kind of corral her for Coach Zabaleta.
Yeah, even more impressive. She's averaging just about 27 minutes per game, so they get a lot of usage out of her. So if Canada, you know, is able to get her in foul trouble, you know, they're looking at someone as important to the roster as she is to this Dominican team. You're hoping those minutes stay fresh for her tonight.
Starting five for Team Canada: Cauley Hill, Ejim Alexander, and Day Wilson. For head coach Nell Fortner, in her first tournament at the helm with Team Canada, and an opportunity to lock in the second spot here in Group A. They're starting to gel a little bit now, Kelsey, with games being played. As most of these teams kind of come together, there's only 2 or 3 weeks for them to really just start to kind of figure out and gain some chemistry. We're starting to see them gel a little bit in real time.
Yeah, it's tricky too because you have a core of veterans on Team Canada who have played together for so long, and then you add a new coach just weeks ago with the squad, and so it has been fun to see how they come together. Despite those 2 wins at the beginning, they're coming off of a loss, but a loss that they fought so hard against a really, really tough Brazil team, and like I said, stayed with them for 3 quarters. It just was that 4th quarter, so I want to see how they respond from that fourth quarter just yesterday, or 2 days ago now. So I'm excited to see the response from Team Canada.
Yeah, it was a tough offensive quarter for Team Canada, something that left a bad taste in their mouth. And let's see how they start here to begin this one inside of a minute. Before we get things going, as you saw the countdown, the tip-off presented by Tissot on your screen. The Dominican Republic will be in the road blue uniforms, Canada wearing their home white, and should be excited, fresh off their celebrating Canada Day for all our Canadian watchers back home.
Yeah, big Canada Day plans for Canada. They had the day off, so they got to rest a little bit. You're looking at Shea Cauley here, a player that I want to keep my eye on. You're going to see her take the tip there. It's Kayla Alexander, the most senior player on this Canadian team, averaging just over 10 points per game and 7 rebounds, but got the height advantage on this one. And as that most senior team, I want to see her really explode for Team Canada here tonight. In that last game, she had 10 points and 12 rebounds against Brazil.
Off we go here from Santiago, Chile. Thanks for joining us wherever you are, however you're doing so. Canada in white uniforms going from left to right on your screen, and they have first possession. Day Wilson was trying to find Alexander, and that's a early turnover here for the Canadians.
I mean, it's the right idea. You have Cheyenne Day Wilson, who's averaging just over four assists a game, excuse me.
Sure.
And then you're going, again, like I said, the most senior player, trying to feed her early down low to get her going.
Day Wilson leading the team in dimes so far through 3 games. Alexander's defense that time preventing the Jimenez drive. Cauley back the other way, takes it herself, and gets the first 2 of the afternoon for Canada.
We're going to see a lot of that from Shea Cauley. She gets downhill so well, and when she gets going, so hard to stop. And again, I think Canada is going to look to attack early because they're trying to come off and shake off that 4th quarter from their last game. What a good start. Strong take by, again, one of the veterans on this team in Shea Cauley.
Going to be the first team foul against Canada. Johanna Morton will inbound. Oldest player on the team for the Dominican Republic, 37 years of age. There she is on the rock. She tees up the 3. In and out. And Alexander gobbles it up. Day Wilson watched by Jimenez, and the foul by Jimenez. It's going to be a good matchup to watch, Kelsey, when you have Jimenez, a really pesky defender, and Dave Wilson, who, making her debut at this level, is keen on being able to perform at a high level to potentially secure some pro deals going into next basketball season.
Yeah, and they have similar bodies, too, and similar skill sets. Both really quick, and oftentimes you see each of them kind of blow by their defender, but with them matching up against each other, they match each other's speed.
Leading scorer for the Dominican Republic, driving to the basket there as Cabayen missed it. She's averaging 16.3 points per contest for the DR. Once again, here she is on the break. Jimenez moves it to Morton. Morton trying to get past Dave Wilson. Got her up in the air and then able to drop it home.
She is so crafty, and you talked about her age, but the experience at this level as well. Yeah, this is her 4th AmeriCup, so she knows how to work a little defense, get them up, and put the points in.
Averaging 7.3 here in the tournament right now. A tough shot by Colley. Was able to be plucked out of the air by Cabayen. Reynoso on the rim run. Tough layup, couldn't get it to fall. She battles for the offensive rebound, touched it last, it'll go the other way.
Yeah, great take by her right there, and you see her go the up and under to avoid the defender underneath, but unfortunately there was another Canadian defender on that right-hand side.
Here's Shea Colley. Kicks it to the corner, too tall for Dave Wilson.
Yeah, every team so far in this tournament, Carlin, has had that day off, and although it's great for a rest, it's almost like you gotta get your legs under you and shake off the rust just in the first couple minutes of that first game back.
Yeah. Cabayen in the lane, over the top of Egypt. Such a crafty scorer.
You said it, averaging over 16 points per game. She's the leading scorer for this squad, the only player averaging double digits for El Salvador. So they're going to go a lot to her and look to feed her. And she's going to go downhill, but she's so good at pulling up too and spacing the floor.
And can also step out and shoot the three, as you saw Egypt stop and pop in the lane to tie the score at 4. Morton has her dribble, so she takes it. Two-man game between Morton and Reynoso. She rejects the screen, puts one up, and got fouled by Colley. Colley not impressed with the call. That will send Joanna Morton to the free throw line.
She's represented the Dominican Republic since 2003 at the youth level, and then of course at the senior level. Yeah, we mention her age a lot on this broadcast, but I hope when you're listening, it's not just age, it's the experience, and it's being able to read defenses. And look, her and Shea Colley, who just fouled her, they've played each other a lot, because these two teams have played each other in the last 3 AmeriCups each. Canada won each of those, but they've seen each other a lot, and so you start to get a little bit used to their tendencies, and she knows Shea Colley is going to go for the block there, so a great read. She does it again there with the footwork around Egypt.
Yeah, nice up and under move by Morton. You see the composure after the missed free throw. 3-point lead for the Dominican Republic. Here's Colley. Rejects the Alexander screen. Alexander steps out. Tries to drop a long range 2. Can't get it to go. Jimenez able to vacuum it in. Morton on the crossover. Looking to go back to the basket on Sammy Hill. Morton with the follow away. That's a tough shot. Can't get it to go. She's asking for a foul call. Whistle stays silent. Meanwhile, Hill finds Alexander underneath. Can't get it to go the first time. And the Dominican bench asking for a travel as nothing. At that basketball touched nothing. And Alexander will take 2 there. And she'll come up with a steal as Jimenez is able to poke it back to Cabayen now in the corner. Cabayen, foot on the line. It's a 2. Not there. A fresh 14 for the DR. There's Jimenez. She'll try from 3. And Alexander plucks it out of the sky. Egypt underneath. Challenging Reynoso. Can't get that to go. Slow start for both teams in this one. Team shooting under 30% to start this basketball game. And has picked her ball up in a dead area on the floor. Egypt got a hand to it. 6 seconds on the shot clock for the DR to work with.
I don't like to use the word pressure because I just feel like it has the wrong connotation, but there is just a lot on the line in this game, and so you're kind of seeing both teams play a little sped up, but a little hyper on the offensive end, and I assume we'll see them settle in a little bit. I mean, I hope in the second half of the first quarter here.
Yeah. Morton didn't realize the shot clock was winding down, and it's a violation. That will allow Abreu and Kelis to check into the game, as well as De Los Santos for the Dominican Republic. That last whistle prior to this, Swords came into the game. You see Tara Wallach now on your screen on the floor for Canada. Shea Cauley uses the Wallach screen. Wallach with the jab and go. Attacking the rim, can't get it to drop. Alexander has her back.
Well, Canada is averaging as a team 16 offensive rebounds for 20 second chance points. Dominican Republic, they see that in those first 3 games from Canada, and they need to be able to box out, put a body on them, and get them out of there.
Capayen calling for it. Swords guarding her. This is a tough matchup for Swords, able to get a hand on the basketball. Falling away is De Los Santos. She can't get it to drop. And Cauley will push the other way, and she loses control of the basketball. Capayen never came back defensively and misses an easy lay.
That's not like her at all. As the leading scorer of this team, you expect her to make those kind of shots.
It's been the story of this first quarter. Basket's tough to come by. Sammy Hill misses twice from 3. Alexander underneath, and another opportunity for second chance points, but they say no basket, and an offensive foul is going to be called on Kayla Alexander.
Yeah, you see the offensive board there, and that's what I'm talking about with Canada. Got to be able to box them out and close the defensive possession. Kayla Alexander tried to make a little too much extra contact, get some space underneath, lowered her shoulder a little bit. Great defense there by Dominican. Once they realized they gave up the offensive board, I like the passion to not let her go back up and stay on her real tough, and they get rewarded with the call.
Mel Abreu trying to beat Sammy Hill. Sammy Hill did a good job of staying in front of her. Kelis being hounded by Day Wilson. Kelis spins off of Day Wilson, draws oohs and ahs from the crowd, but then her pass to De Los Santos goes out of bounds.
So crafty, and I don't know if you see that. You got Morton leaning over the signage, over the bench, giving her the 2 thumbs up, saying that's exactly what you need to do, and that's the leadership that we see from Morton. You know, helping and encouraging the younger players on the Dominican Republic.
So Russell on the floor for Canada now, 13 in white. Day Wilson alone for 3. Can't get it to drop. And the ball touched about 4 hands, and it will stay here with 14 on the shot clock for Canada to work with. Well, there's Nell Fortner getting her first opportunity here. Senior national team level for Team Canada, of course, won gold of the Sydney Games, coaching Team USA and trying to bring that experience to the Canadians. As Wallach tees up a 3, she's going to track down her own miss, but couldn't keep it in play. Lina Morton will check back into the game for Capayen. Hit the 3-minute mark here in this first quarter. Both teams struggling to find the ring. De Los Santos, line drive shot not there. Batista flying in for the offensive rebound. Nice pass on the baseline to find Morton.
Morton's going to be solid for this team the entire game. She is a competitor. She does not give up, even in the games where they're down big. You're going to see her I mean, she just sat out, but for as many minutes as she gets today, which is going to be a lot, she's going to go 110%, and that's what you get after the offensive rebound. She makes the cut and finds herself wide open under the hoop.
Russell from the corner for 3.
Marissa Russell finally puts the drought, or stops the drought, for Team Canada on the offensive board, and Another one of the veterans on this team, one of the oldest three, I'd say, who have been around this Canadian program for so long. So she knows how to get that one done. Hopefully, Tara Wallach, there you go. She knows how to answer now that Marissa Russell is kind of, what do you call it, taking the cling wrap off the top of the hoop?
The saran wrap off the top of the hoop. Cling wrap works too. Back-to-back threes for the Canadians gives them a 5-point advantage, their largest lead of the game. Morton forcing her way past Swords, and Swords is able to grab that board on the miss. Kayla Alexander on the rim run. An 8-0 run from Team Canada leads to a timeout for the Dominican Republic. 90 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 16-9, Canada in front.
Vamos a repetirte, aquí hay que defender. La chiquita que no defienda no puede jugar básquet. Tienes que defender. Ya tiraron de aquí y tiraron de aquí. Bloqueo, voy con la mía. Tú no tienes que hacer de aquí. Si tú no la vas a coger, si tú la coges no me cae en la boca. Pero tú tienes que estar aquí con los, ya aparecieron los triples. Irani con su locura, ya aparecieron los triples. Ok, siguen rotando la pelota y siguen defendiendo. Ok, tiempo. Estamos cero, el cero. Pero oye, el cero es para que cambie aquí, para que haya un pase. Si usted no se mueve, no puede haber un pase.
Well, at some point, the law of averages would work out for one of these two teams. It started working for Canada as Russell drilled the three, then Wallach. And that run, an 8-0 run, capped off by Kayla Alexander layup to get Canada in front by 7. And that was a very spirited huddle for the Dominican Republic, as they do have a lot at stake here. They don't want to finish 4th, even though they are locked into the quarterfinals. Canada with a win will secure 2nd spot and take on Puerto Rico on Friday for the first quarterfinal matchup. Rodriguez into the game for the DR. She's on the rock right now. Reynoso had that pass go behind her, and Russell pushing the other way. Swords will try for 3. Indeed.
Swords has come into every single one of the games and lit it up right away from beyond the 3. The youngest player to ever represent Canada at an Olympics in Paris just this past Olympics for Team Canada. One of the youngest players you're going to see here at the AmeriCup, and she is not scared of the big lights.
Well, she's not. Second team All Big Ten last season, and made the All Big Ten freshman team playing at the University of Michigan. Wallach in the lane. Great footwork by Tara Wallach.
Tara Wallach is so long and so skilled in her footwork that it's so difficult to cover her, because she can bring you out to the 3 like we mentioned earlier, but then she can also drive, and then you see the footwork there when she picks up her dribble, if you kind of get right in her grill. And so really tricky, because those legs, they take long steps right around the defender.
Morton able to come up with the steal here. Macon in a drought. Shot clock unplugged. Morton showing some footwork. Can't get it to go. Time for Canada to get the last look. Swords, she'll take it to the basket and get 2, and that's how we'll end the first period of play.
We were talking about how Canada would respond after that 4th quarter against Brazil 2 days ago. They started out slow, but look how they end the quarter. A couple threes, a couple buckets, and just like that, it looks like this Canadian team, like you had mentioned, is starting to gel, and that's the chemistry that we've seen from Canada in those first 2 wins that they had in the tournament.
23-9 your score after 1. Here are the stats on the first 10 minutes of play. And Canada with those 3 threes, as Kelsey just mentioned, now shooting 43% from 3-point range. Russell, Wallach, and Swords able to knock a couple of down, and now we take an opportunity to look at the best plays from the first quarter, and a lot of these will be on the back end of the first quarter, because the front end is a little bit of a struggle for both teams to get going.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot from Morton here. She's the leading scorer for Dominican Republic with 7 points. And then 6 different players have scored for Canada so far in that one. Again, Morton so crafty. She had a couple back-to-back layups there. And then, of course, you're going to feed Canada's most veteran player, Kayla Alexander. And she's always going to be able to get the offensive rebound. There's another offensive rebound she had there. And that's going to be a big defensive assignment for whoever is on her on Dominican Republic.
Alexander already with 3 offensive rebounds in this game. 6 rebounds overall. And there are the aforementioned threes. Russell, Wallach, and then Swords able to open up the basket for Team Canada. And that rim run by Alexander gave her her 6th point of the first period. So 23-9 your score after 1. And Kelsey, this is all yours.
You guys are watching this, however you are doing so, you see the QR code in the bottom of your screen there. Be like Carlin, be like me, scan that QR code and get the Courtside 1891 app. You can get these live streams, you can get more extended highlights and stay up to date with the world of international basketball, including what will begin the knockout stage of this tournament coming up later this week.
Carlin Gay alongside the sharpshooting Kelsey Wright Johnson. Thanks for joining us wherever you are. The knockout stage, as Kelsey mentioned, will begin on Friday. We will have an off day tomorrow. She'll allow Kelsey and I to finally be able to see a little bit of Chile.
I'm excited. The mountains look pretty in the distance.
They do. That turnover there by Canada to start the second quarter is already their 6th of the first half. Jimenez calling out a set as she crosses the timeline. On the floor for DR. Jimenez, Reynoso catches it, throws it out to Hodge. And Abreu and Capayen make up the 5 for the DR. For Canada, Dave Wilson, Ejim, Wallach, Swords, and Russell. Wallach left alone for 3. Indeed.
KYP is an acronym that a lot of basketball players know well, and that is Know Your Personnel. Tara Wallach is a shooter.
Already with 2 threes so far in this one. Give her wide open looks, she'll knock it down. Capayen with a tough look, in and out. Wallach with the rebound.
Those kind of shots are so frustrating as shooters because it literally went in, and I know that felt good leaving her hand. She trotted back on defense before it hit the rim, and you got to keep shooting those ones.
Dave Wilson takes this side to Russell, who was able to lift Capayen, but then Capayen slapping the ball from behind to get the turnover. Capayen had it caught on her hip, and lucky for the DR, it was slapped out of bounds by Canada. Almost a walk that time by Capayen.
Yeah, you're looking at Shy Wilson right there. She's the one who kind of knocked that one out of bounds. As you see, Tara Wallach just lights out from 3. Shea Colley is gonna check in, and Day Wilson will take a seat on the bench. And I was just about to say that Day Wilson was kind of saying, oh my God, I didn't touch that one. She is one of the most intense players I have ever witnessed, but you don't lose any intensity when you get Shea Colley in for her.
Jimenez watched by Swords. Capayen has the rock now. Shot clock an issue for the Dominican Republic as Reynoso takes an open 3. And Ejim, the leading rebounder on Team Canada, pulls down another board. Swords for 3. Can't get it to go. Followed her own. Now looking for help. It's Colley. 2-man game with Ejim. Missed the layup. Ball up for grabs. And finally, Evangelista pulls it down. Numbers for the Dominican Republic. Hodge is going to run into Colley, and it's a charge. And Team Canada's bench erupts. And Colley with the biggest smile on her face.
That's the intensity I'm talking about when it comes to Shea Colley. She's not going to allow, she doesn't want the steal, she doesn't want the block. She's going to do something that's positive for her team and negative for the other team. And I have a feeling that there's some kind of small prize with Team Canada because every time they take a charge, the team goes crazy. So I have a feeling there's something internally there where, like, if you take a charge, you get an extra donut at breakfast or something.
Mel Fortner talked about it, and so did Egypt after the first game here in Santiago in the press conference, saying that they just want to be able to be more physical, and taking charges are a part of that.
So
Marissa Russell,
donuts?
no donuts to my knowledge anyway, but Marissa Russell took a charge in game number 1, and the bench hopped off like she had hit a full court shot. Colley missed the up and under, but Reynoso with the rebound. Capayen did the stop and go dribble. Step back. That was nasty, but couldn't get it to drop. Delaney Gibb on the floor for Team Canada. Number 3 in white, sharpshooter. Had a terrific freshman year last year at BYU. Here she is on the rock. Can't give her that space. And she misses the 3. Jimenez in the open floor, an in-out cross, and Colley fouls her on the floor.
And you see Colley pointing to the floor after the foul, saying that's on the floor, like we're not giving her a shot. That's the intensity I like to see from Team Canada, but even more, Dominican Republic gotta do something to get their offense going in this one. Defense has actually been pretty steady as you look at the shooting percentages from both teams, as Canada only shooting 38%, but they're coming into this at a really high percentage, shooting 45% from the field, and so you got to do something on the offensive end for the Dominican Republic to get something going. Capian, the leading scorer of this one, she wants the ball in her hands there, as you kind of saw. The play wasn't being run for her, but Jimenez
with a tough look off the mark, Gibb with the rebound. Canada right now pitching a shutout in this quarter. Faye Wilson working on Jimenez. Alexander on the block. Solis in front of her. 5 to shoot for Day Wilson. And to Alexander. Great two-man game between Alexander and Day Wilson.
That is so hard to guard with that two-man game because they have the 3 players on the other side. They free up space here. There's no help defender that can come over.
Capayen with the backdoor cut. Patient, kicks it to Hodge. Hodge didn't want the 3. She takes the float instead, and Egypt will clear. Hey, Wilson with her head up. Finds Alexander down low. 4 blue jerseys around her, and she was fouled by Jimenez. That's a great rim run by your big, Kayla Alexander.
For sure. We said it as Morton checks in for the experience that she has, but Kayla Alexander as well. She has WNBA experience. She's played overseas. She's been in the AmeriCup. She's won a gold. She's won a silver. And so another one of those players that just knows the right way to play, especially international, because FIBA is such a different game. As a timeout is called on the floor. One of my favorite parts of these broadcasts, we get to go eavesdrop. Let's hear what coach is saying to his team.
Atiéndeme acá. La defensa está bien. Lo que está pésimo es la ofensiva, porque no circulamos la pelota. Cada vez que penetramos, no circulamos la pelota. Cada vez que tú penetres y hay alguien afuera, sácala afuera, pero tú no puedes ir para arriba de la grande. Freddy, tírale. No vayas para arriba de la grande. Estamos tirando bien lo que no la metemos y estamos defendiendo. Acuérdense en defensa, cuando cambie con agresividad y tú defiendes como Jennifer, te lo dije, pegado ahí, pegado. No te quiero aquí abajo para nada. ¿Ok? Vamos a mover la pelota. Vamos a mover la pelota. Vamos a circular el balón. Sigue rotando el balón. Sigue rotando el balón. Sigue rotando el balón, buscando una mejor.
See the physicality of the FIBA basketball AmeriCup here in Santiago, Chile. Sights and sounds. And in that timeout, some of the pictures showed you, even if you don't understand the language, the body language told you there was a lot of frustration in that huddle as the Dominican Republic trail 28-9 right now and have not scored in this period.
Yeah, and that's where the frustration is coming from. Everybody needs to feel like you can score And you know who else can score is Delaney Gibb. That's just her second 2-point field goal of the tournament. You mentioned it, so lights out from beyond the three, so good at spacing the floor that when the defense comes to get on her hip and not let her score the three, yeah, she's able to drive too.
She's going to get three the old-fashioned way here, or at least an opportunity for it. A unanimous Big 12 Freshman of the Year last season in the NCAA at BYU, led the team in points and assists and set a BYU freshman record for scoring average, averaging 17.4 points per game. Future bright for Delaney Gibb. And as you said, more than just a shooter.
And she only has, before coming here, only had 6 games experience with Team Canada. So one of the players that you just pluck in, and she's gelled so well with this roster so far in this tournament.
Showed up late here to Chile for good reason, though. Her boyfriend, Diego Demon, got drafted to the NBA, 8th overall by the Brooklyn Nets. So she was able to take that in person, hop on a flight, and now represent her country. Sammy Hill here on the drive. Last touch, or excuse me, she got fouled, and she'll go to the line here for 2 free throws.
Sammy Hill, again, we talk about the experience of this Canadian team, has been to 3 AmeriCups before this. She was part of that bronze and silver team, but then also the gold medal winning team back in 2017. She began her Canadian or Team Canada career back in 2015. She's played over 113 games with Team Canada.
Sammy Hill has done it all with Team Canada. You've asked her to be a playmaker, she can do that. Come in off the bench and be an energy player, she can do that. There's so many different roles. Sammy Hill has been a Swiss Army knife for this national team program. And on this version of Team Canada, one of the leaders here in Chile. Evangelista trying to get by Gibb. Gibb did a good job of keeping her hands up and not fouling, got the block. They will stay here with Dominican Republic. 10 on the shot clock for the DR to work with. Sosa checking back in, 44 in blue. You saw her in that last huddle, very passionate. Let's see if that is able to be a positive here on the floor for the DR. Capayen for 3, indeed. The first basket here in the quarter is a Capayen 3. A player that could get red hot. She just needs to see it go through the hoop once. All of a sudden, it's automatic for her. See if that gets her going tonight. Gibb inside, and Chai could not handle it. Che, excuse me. Sosa down low, Che with the rip. Gives it off to her high school teammate, Dave Wilson. Dave Wilson with the strong take off the window. Couldn't get it to drop. Numbers for the DR. Capayen will tee up a 3 again. Halfway down and out.
I know it seems like an early shot to take in the shot clock, but she was feeling it, and all of her shots are going in and out. Eventually, those ones are gonna start to fall. She is a really, really great shooter, especially from the 3-point line. So if I'm coach, I'm not mad at that shot. I want her to keep going. They're literally going in, Carlin. They're half-point shots, or they should be at least.
Gibb will get the full 2 on that one. And she's able to drop it in off the offensive rebound. Kaylise able to get to the foul line, but good defense there as Che was able to walk up and contest. Gibb for 3 in transition.
Wow, Delaney Gibb comes in and lights it on fire. 8 points for her already in this one.
Had a good start in game number 1 for Team Canada. She basically came off the plane against El Salvador as Sosa drills it and knocked down 3 threes in the first half.
Hey, for Sosa, you saw that passion and wanted to see if it would translate into play, and it does so far with her first bucket.
Gibb once again, she can score in bunches.
She is so fun to watch.
She really is. You see Canada now with 6 3-pointers here in this first half, shooting 43% from deep. Kaylise working on Che. Egypt and Batista got tied up. Gibb all alone getting fancy on the lane.
Why not? Why not? Feed her up top, feed her around the perimeter, feed her down low, and just for a little extra flair, she does the little reverse layup and forces the steal there.
On the lay herself. Dominican Republic, by the way, don't have a timeout. That's the reason why they're playing on. Canada have 2 remaining in this half. A 12-2 run at the moment. Capayette for 3. Indeed. Finally putting a stop to that Canadian avalanche.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shooting I'm talking about from Capayette, because although it looks early, although it may look unorthodox, that's the shots that have been falling for her in this tournament. I mean, she's shooting 36% from the three-point line. With shots like that, she's got to keep going, because those shots are going to continue to fall for her tonight.
Dave Wilson from 3, can't get it to go. Capayette with the rebound. Evangelista will push. Batista. Sosa was fouled by Ejim, and finally the Dominican Republic can get those subs that have been sitting at the scores table for what feels like 3 minutes of game time.
We're getting hockey subs kind of from both teams. We're going to get brand new lineups for both squads right now.
Hopping over the boards. They really could do that here with the LED signs right in front of their benches. Second team foul, by the way, in this quarter for Team Canada. Abreu will trigger this inbound. Reynoso on the floor with her, as is Jimenez, Hodge, and Morton. This is Morton on the rock. Cauley in front of her. Morton, one-legged jump shot, hits the top of the backboard, almost fell. Hodges with a rebound, and a fresh 14 for the DR. Jimenez. Reynoso with the up fake. The floater, able to rattle it home.
Reynoso, this is the lineup for her, because she's got the size advantage right now, the length advantage. And if the Dominican wants to go on a run, that's the player I'd want to continue to feed.
3-second differential between shot and game clock as Potter has it top of the key. It'd be Becker. Becker penetrating, trying to get past Reynoso. We'll call that a pass as Potter lays it in. Jimenez with time. Morton knows it. Couldn't get it off before the horn. And that's how we'll end the first half. A dominant performance by the Canadians here in Chile, and they'll take a big lead heading into the locker room break. 47-19 over the Dominican Republic.
A couple things stick out for me, Carlin, and that's 26 points in the paint for Canada and 7 points off turnovers. Because these are things that the Dominican Republic can go back in their timeout right now, where they get to kind of regroup and fix. You can fix turning the ball over. Look, they're 8 turnovers each for a team. It's even.
Right.
But then Canada has been able to score way more, and a lot of those points in the paint have been either fast break points, or they've been just getting the ball deeper than, you know, the defense should be allowing the offensive player to get. Those are effort things. Those are things you can clean up. So if I'm Dominican Republic, I'm going in with things that are easily fixable, with a little more effort, with a little more care. And I think going into the second half, it's encouraging that these are things not just out of your hands. Things that are out of their hands are the three-point shooting that Canada has right now, because they are absolutely red hot. It was Tara Wallach who started it off with a couple of her own, and then Delaney Gibb checks in and just absolutely lights out. She's already got 13 points from Team Canada, and like we saw, she did it from the 3, but she did it right from the bucket too.
Good start for Canada in the first half in terms of three-point shooting. As you mentioned, Kel's shooting 38% as a team from deep. On the other side, the Dominican Republic being held to just 23% from the floor. That's great Canadian defense, and it's something that Nell Fortner and her coaching staff has really emphasized being here in Chile, is being able to allow their defense to ignite their offense, and we've seen that here through the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's a key to the ignition right there, is Delaney Gibb. So fiery for this Canadian squad.
Well,
she was unstoppable.
Well, it really was. Came off the bench and poured in 13, as Kelsey mentioned. You can give Kayla Alexander 8 points. And Team Canada enjoying a huge advantage here at the half. 47-19 your halftime score. Team Canada with the lead. We'll be back with more here from the FIBA Women's AmeriCup in Santiago, Chile.
This isn't a moment. It's a time unlike any before.
It's not a request, not a maybe, not a someday.
This is now. Feel our presence, built on strength
and drive. Not rising, we are arriving. Not hoping, but owning.
This isn't a moment, it's movement. Constant, relentless.
Every cut, every pass, every shot. Earned. Taken.
Undeniable. The future, it's already here.
Forged in sweat,
Ruled by queens.
When we move, the whole game shifts.
And we're unstoppable in all directions. We own the game.
Back inside, Dantes watched by Batista. One-on-one action, Dantes fading away. Pure. Dantes at the nail, being hounded by Field, puts it up and in. Lopez got it off in time, banks it in.
Martinez, quick first step. Off the screens, 2 on the clock. Puts it up from 3. And right at the buzzer of the shot clock. What a shot.
It's Lopez to Valentina Lopez. She's blocked by Ojeda. What a rejection. And Hawkins again colliding, and Hawkins smiling, thinking that Jones took a liberty there. But Nites for 3 at the horn. Gigantes, good up fake. Gigantes, oh, what a rejection by Ramos, excuse me.
And that's her second of the night.
And on the other end, stops and pops. That's a difficult shot. Elise, good find. Oh, Cardoso says no. What a rejection. Killer Cam.
4 seconds to go for the Lobos. Got to put it up. Find some space. Goes up. That one's good. And Mundo charged with the foul on that. Villalobos, what a way to kick off the 4th quarter. Bucket for Argentina to push the lead.
That is unbelievable. These guys will be legends in their own countries, but also in the international basketball world.
Back we are here in Santiago, Chile at the half. 47-19, Canada in front. Carlin Gay alongside the 6'1" Kelsey Wright Johnson. And Kelsey was a fantastic second quarter effort and really end of the first quarter into the second quarter effort defensively for Team Canada. As we take a look at the top scores for both these two teams, Capayen has had a struggle. She's gotten 8 points, but you see the shooting percentage, just 30% from the field.
Yeah, and what's hurting the shooting percentages from the three-point line. 1 for 6 from deep. Oh, excuse me. 1 for 6 from 2. So I'm shooting more threes. She's been really good. She has 8 points. I want to give a little credit to Johanna Martin as well. She's got 7. So combined between these two, 15 of the team's 19 points. And Carlin, these are the two players I expected to have big games for this team today. I just also expected a little bit more from the bench. This team is averaging 20 points, a little more than 20 points from their bench, and they've only got 1 bucket coming from that second squad today.
Delaney Gibb, really special with the ball in her hand, Kels. 13 points, leading all scorers, and shooting 50% from three-point range. But we knew she was a good shooter coming into this game, and so did the rest of the tournament. But now being able to see her get to the paint and finish in the lane as well.
Well, that's the thing about good shooters. And I'm not at all comparing her to Steph Curry, because no one is Steph Curry. Okay. But that's the thing with good shooters. You see him always moving, and Delaney Gibb does the same thing. She's so good at continuously moving and then creating her own space. Everyone in the world, including this Dominican Republic team, knows that she's a good shooter. How does she do it? This one is just a catch and shoot. This one's just a quick release. But how does she do it in a set play? And we're going to see a little bit of that. Is she makes space. She creates space so well. And then when there is no space, she's so good at just getting around the defender and going right to the hoop. We saw her in fast break. That's just hustle and heart. She has been really impressive. The three-pointers, obviously, 2 for 4 are impressive from her. But what's more impressive is 62% from the field overall, because she has been so good at just getting right to the hoop. And, you know, I like that little fancy one. You saw that earlier. Yeah. 31 points from the bench for Team Canada. That's kind of as expected, although really outdoing themselves already because their average is 32. So they can get double what their average is going into this one. It'll give the starters a little bit of a rest going into the knockout round. Hopefully the Dominican makes a little run here and gets those starters back in for Canada, but it might feel like they're climbing a Chilean mountain getting back into this one down 47-19.
It does indeed. Well, the permutations here before we head into the knockout round. If the Dominican Republic were able to win by at least 20 points, that would have given them second place here in Group A. If they win by 10 or anywhere between 10 and 19 points, that would have given third place. A win by 9 points or less, or a loss, will keep them right in fourth place. Canada, it's pretty simple for them. They just got to win this game, and they lock up second spot. They're well on their way to doing so. So if we're able to look ahead, we kind of have our potential, we'll call it for now, quarterfinal matchups. And if all things stay the same, Canada will see Puerto Rico in game number 1. That should be a really good contest. Colombia will see Argentina. Burani, they're big, took a little knock. We don't know if she will be available in that one. Fingers crossed for her health. Brazil will take on Mexico, and Team USA would play the Dominican Republic if the result stays as is. Those 2-3 matchups, the Canada versus Puerto Rico and Argentina versus Colombia, you circle those ones and you say, those are 2 pretty good basketball games that we would be looking forward to on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already kind of like shaking in anticipation because they're going to be such good games. And now, of course, the team that you're looking at right here, and this player specifically doesn't want that for us. No. She wants to win, and they want to win, what did you say, by 10 at least, right? Moves them up.
At least by 10 will get them third place.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a big half from this Dominican Republic team, and it's all about response. And we talked about the response from Canada after their loss to Brazil and how they came out. And 47 points in the first half was a pretty big one, and so you want that same response here from the Dominican Republic, led by the two veterans on this team. You're looking at both of them right there in Capian and Morton. Like I said, combined for 15 of the team's 19 points. They're going to have huge performances coming into this second half, which, hey, it's doable. In that first game, Capian had 24 points, 10 rebounds in the last one. Johanna Morton had 14 points, so these women can score.
Yeah,
they just gotta get it together. And and then in that first game also, Hilary De La Santo, we haven't seen a lot from her. She had 17 points. If they are able to get all three of those women firing on all cylinders at the same time, they can make a big run here at Team Canada.
Yeah, De Los Santos 0 for 3 from the field right now. Her and her teammates just shooting 23% overall from the floor. You have to imagine that at some point the law of averages will flip and work out in their favor. On the flip side, Canada's done a great job defensively holding the Dominican Republic to just 19 points through the first 20 minutes. We'll listen in to the Dominican huddle before the start of the third quarter.
Cero. Si es palabra es porque es texto. Pero aquí, estas dos jugadoras tienen que hacer esto, tienen que cambiar para que mareen a la defensa. Si se quedan estáticas, el pase de aquí no sale para allá. Ya, y aparte practicamos hoy este trabajo. Practicamos este trabajo hoy, pero en 4 se tiene que mover. Angie se tiene que mover para arriba. ¿Entendido? Y tengan fe, tengan fe. ¿Qué quiero? Que pasó hoy, circulen un poco más la pelota, que hoy la bola ha corrido y vamos a ir defendiendo. En la defensa, si cambiamos, tenemos que ser agresivos con la pelota. Ok, agresivo con la pelota. No podemos dejar la pelota libre. Ok, vamos. Buscamos las mejores líneas de tiro. Venga, vamos. 1, 2, 3. Venga, vamos. Mejor ahora,
Scan the QR code on your screen right now and download the Courtside 1891 app. Streams, schedules, scores, and so much more. Your companion app for the Women's AmeriCup here in Chile and the rest of FIBA competitions worldwide. By the way, the Boys U19 World Cup going on right now in Switzerland, having a fantastic tournament out there. So many young stars that will potentially be pros later on in a couple of years. We'll see them at the highest level of basketball. They're all competing for their countries at the U19 in Switzerland. So Courtside 1891 app. Keep you up to date with everything happening in FIBA basketball. As we get things going here to start this second half, Dave Wilson on the floor with Cauley, Hill, Ejim, and Alexander, who's on the ball right now. Left-hand hook doesn't go. Reynoso will vacuum it in. She's on the floor with Rodriguez, Capayen, Batista, and Morton. A win for Canada locks in second spot in Group A, and a date with Puerto Rico. That was a good look there by Capayen. Unable to get that to drop, and Sammy Hill will push the other way. If the Dominican Republic can come back and win this game by at least 10, that means they jump out of 4th spot from Group A, overtake Argentina, and they will sit in 3rd place and have a date with Colombia. If they lose this game, they'll see Team USA on Friday in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, if they make that run, Carlin, it's going to have to start on the defensive end. They've given up 47 points, and they're not seeing a lot of success right now on the offensive end percentage-wise, and so you got to be able to lock Canada down.
Capayen, a deep 3 off the back iron as the shot clock was winding down. Dave Wilson, smallest player on the floor right now, picked up that rebound. Alexander at the nail. Will turn and face Reynoso in front of her. Hill pulls up at the foul line. Line drive shot not there. Alexander able to keep possession for Canada. Cauley driving, rejected by Reynoso. And Cauley stepping out of bounds as she was able to corral the basketball after the Reynoso block.
That's been 2 really solid defensive possessions for Gio Reynoso to start this second half. The first one, She got the team. They weren't able to score on it, but got the oh my gosh, the stop to be able to have Canada go back, or have, oh my goodness, to have Dominican Republic head back the other way, and then that time it was the block. She's going to be an anchor to this defense, especially while Kayla Alexander is on the floor for Team Canada. But if Kayla Alexander subs out and Reynoso is able to step in, like I said, that's the player I want them to be able to feed. And she's going to start that on the defensive end and let that fuel her on offense to get her involved a little bit more on the offensive end.
Morton with the inbound. Capayen watched by Hill. Hill all over her. Finally shakes her. Capayen for three, and it's an air ball.
Shooter's got to shoot, and she has to keep shooting. I know it doesn't feel like she probably wants to right now, as she's 2 for 6 from the three-point line. But she's got to find a way to get back in this one, and three-pointers are the quickest way to do that. Not that they're running out of time. It's not over. It's not desperation yet, but it is urgency, and those are the urgent shots that the Dominican Republic needs.
Hill missed the wide open three. Nice pass by Dave Wilson inside to Alexander. Had to go halfway down and out.
Again, you see Reynoso there with just the really long arms, straight up, doesn't make any contact, doesn't have to foul, and she disrupts the shooting of Kayla Alexander. She makes Kayla Alexander just think twice about how she's going up.
Capayen on the drive was fouled by Shea Cauley. It's going to be Shea's third foul. And now we'll bring some reserves on the floor for Team Canada. Kayla Alexander and Sammy Hill and Shea Cauley will lead the game.
I mentioned Nell Fortner just being added to this squad just a few weeks ago and gelling with this one. You had mentioned just how much winning she's done, and she has done it at all different levels. She just retired from the NCAA at Georgia Tech. She's coached Team USA to an Olympic gold. She was the National Coach of the Year back in 1997, and she's in the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame. Incredible. She also led the USA to a 101-14 record, which is the most wins of any coach in USA basketball history.
And included a gold medal at the Sydney Games. Canada hoping she could be the driving force to a medal at the Paris Games a couple summers from now. Morton on the block, watched by Swords. Morton with the shoulder to Swords' chest. Swords did a good job of standing her ground, taking that shot. That pass inside to Reynoso went off the rim and into the hands of the scorer, Capayen. Sometimes, as a scorer, you're always in the right places at the right time.
That's it. You just got to make the most of the opportunities that you see, and she does just that. She's got 12.
Shea looking to go to work, stripped by Batista, and she traveled.
Like I said, if you can start for the Dominican Republic on the defensive end, string together a couple stops, it's going to give you a positive outlook and help you rub off on that offensive end. And just like that, a couple stops for the Dominican Republic force that timeout for Canada as they want to go regroup. Let's go take a look. We mentioned Nell Fortner. Now we get a chance once again to hear what she talks with about her team.
Everybody has responsibility, especially the veterans. That play had you going downhill and you cut it. Wake up! This isn't just go out there and be entitled to play. You go out there and you play the way we're asking you to play. Do you understand that? Don't feed her outside the paint. Give it to her in the paint. No, I don't want to hear anything. Give her the ball in the paint. And don't dribble if you have it out of the paint. Just get it out. This is unacceptable play. It's unacceptable play. Period. Do you understand that? Come on, here we go. Let's go together. 3, 1, 2, 3, together. Hey, Russ.
There's some of that experience in that huddle from Nell Fortner, the big lead, but she's not playing the scoreboard. She's playing the tournament and knows that Team Canada has to be better if they want to be able to stand on top of the podium here on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, who she was looking at was Filipina Chai, and understanding, we talked about this on the defensive end really for Dominican Republic, but understanding your personnel, that goes with your teammates as well. It's putting your teammates in the right positions to be able to score. And you're right, she's thinking tournament. She's not thinking, hey, let's feed her down low so she can score 50 points in today's game, but it's feeding her down low so she gets those reps, she gets the experience that's going to help her in the knockout round come Friday.
Reynoso, top of the key, takes one dribble, kills it in a weird area, but gave it up to Rodriguez, who frees herself for three off the back iron. Wallach, who's into the game now for Canada, with the rebound. See if they're able to give it inside to Che. Day Wilson behind the back triple. Tough layup. And Shy Day Wilson will go to the line for one more.
I had mentioned it earlier, one of the most intense, tough players that Canada has. You said the smallest player on the court. That doesn't matter if you're Shy Day Wilson. She is so tough and she doesn't look in the mirror and see a 5'6" guard. She looks in the mirror and sees the body of Filipina Che and the toughness of, I don't know, name something tough. She is so good at that. That size does not matter for her. I mentioned it earlier. It's heart over height for Day Wilson.
No question. Unable to complete the three-point play. Day Wilson had a season that she would like to forget at LSU. What was fantastic at the U19 World Cup for Team Canada, averaging 18 points and just under 6 assists in 2021. She loves playing for her country as she tees up Swords for three. Chai underneath, trying to grab that offensive rebound. Reynoso and Che on the other end tie up. Meanwhile, Capayen drills a three, and she's fired up with a chest bump on Reynoso. And now Dominican Republic starting to feel themselves a little bit here in this third.
And that starts on the defensive end. Capayen gets the stop on one end. It lets that fuel her on the offensive end, and she's got now 2 buckets in a row.
Offensive rebound there by Wallach. Two-man game here for the high school teammates. Day Wilson rejects the screen, attacks the rim, wants the foul call. It's not going to come. And Morton ahead of everybody on the other side of the floor. Going by Swords to the rim.
This basketball game is not over. There is no quit in the Dominican Republic. We've seen that in their 3 games that they've had here. The loss to Argentina, the loss to Brazil, they didn't stop. And if you give them an inch, they will take a mile, as they now have 30 points in the night.
Swords for three. Can't get that to fall. Ball up for grabs. Che on the floor, excuse me, and it's going to be a jump ball, possession arrow in favor of the DR.
And look, this is already the Dominican Republic's best quarter. 11 points they've scored, which is the most they've scored in a quarter, and there's still 4.5 minutes left to go. And they've held Canada to just 2 points. Got to be a frustrating quarter if you're Team Canada, but they've been in this experience, like I said, with just 5 points in that last quarter against Brazil, so they know how to break this now as they sit back in a zone and force the Dominican, into either some shots that they don't like, or hopefully a shot clock violation, I know is what Canada's going for.
Yeah, zone offense here for DR. Rodriguez, Morton, good ball fake. Finds Rodriguez underneath. She's going to dribble along the baseline, find Capayen for three. Off the rim, and an offensive rebound here for the DR. Morton calling for it. She wants it. Takes the three. Off the mark. Reynoso battling. Rodriguez in there. The effort by the Dominican, but they can't come up with the rock. Day Wilson penetrating back the other way. A tough layup, not there. Alexander with the rebound. Had it slapped out of her hands. It's going to stay here.
And that's the one thing Dominican Republic cannot afford to do. We see the effort on the defensive end. We see the effort as they try and grab their offensive rebound, but you cannot let Canada get offensive rebounds. They average 16. The thing is, 20 second chance points is what they average coming into this one. So that's a tricky one. You can't let them get those offensive boards. Already 16 boards on the evening.
Wallach off the inbound, no good. Offense drying up now for Canada. As Rodriguez now back the other way. There's Capayen. Watched by Swords. Capayen step back and then gave it away. Reynoso wasn't looking for it. She was looking to try and get the offensive rebound. Meanwhile, Shea Colley with a tough move to the hoop and one.
You've got your 2 leaders, or there are 3 leaders, excuse me, on Canada out right now. Shea Colley, one of them, trying to put a stop to this drought from Canada. That's the 2nd field goal for this team so far in this one. And when you look over on the other side on Dominican, earlier when Capien is scoring, you see great defense. When you're missing, she is frustrated on those misses and comes back with a little frustration foul, and Shea Colley is rewarded with that one, but she'll take it. She likes a good three-point play.
And she converts. Was second on the team in scoring at the Paris Games, averaging 12.3 points per game. It started in every Olympic game in Paris and in Tokyo. As Khalees puts up a three, going to get possession back on the ricochet. Here's Batista in front of Alexander. Can't get that to fall. Delaney Gibb, who's now back into the game with the rebound. They quickly move it ahead. And good transition D that time by the DR. Alexander wants it on the block. De Los Santos with the strip, and Alexander touched it last.
String together some tough stops for Dominican.
As the fans file in here in Chile for the final game of the day, they will see the host nation play Puerto Rico. You're starting to feel a little bit of momentum for the Dominican, as most fans who don't really have a horse in this one are cheering for the underdog. Dominican kind of feels like they have a little bit of a home court advantage right now in this third quarter. They can feed off this energy. They can make this interesting down the stretch. Colley turns the corner, rejected by De Los Santos.
Yeah, that's the crowd right there. You see the block, and it gets loud in here. It's going to stay with Canada, but I know that fuels the Dominicans' passion, especially on the defensive end, because that's where you need it more. You need someone cheering you on. Offense is fun. Defense is a grind.
It's been a grind so far this afternoon, guarding this woman right here with the basketball as Kim attacking the rim.
And do you see the way she protects the ball? Head down, almost wipes everyone out of her way, and then on the left arm, hugs the ball. No one is getting to that ball without fouling her, and that's what makes her so dangerous.
Khalees, skip pass. Batista in the lane, falling away, uses the window, can't get it to go. Hodge had her fingertips on it. It sprays out to Khalees for three.
14-7 this quarter for the Dominican Republic. We said they had to lock in on defense. They've done just that. We said they got to get going on offense, and look at this. Doubling Canada's points in this quarter. Only a minute and a half left to go in the third.
Wallach will take the three. Can't get it to go. Colley skying for the offensive rebound. Finds herself alone for two.
A long two from Colley, and she's the one who got it done earlier, putting a stop to the drought of Canada, and she's the one who continues to create opportunities for this Canadian squad.
Canada sitting back in his zone once again. Khalees trying to probe that zone. Ball goes inside to De Los Santos. She lost it, but then Colley touched it last, so it'll stay here with the DR. 7 on the shot clock to shoot. Before we get that, we'll get a timeout. 1:02 remaining here in the third period. The Dominican Republic trying to build some momentum before the knockout round here in Chile. Let's head to their huddle.
Saca Easy. Patricia. Angie. ¿Quién es la otra? Hilary. Y Cesarina. ¿Ok? Bloqueo aquí. Señor. ¿Ok? Este es Angie, este eres tú. Bloqueo aquí. Y si saca. Saca ahí. Bloqueo aquí. Angie hace esto y hace esto. Y automáticamente le hace bloqueo a Cesarina. Rápido. Para que Cesarina venga para acá, pase y tiro César. ¿Ok? ¿Ok? Fíjate. Va y sigue. Y no te apures en ir a buscar. Vamos, vamos.
It's exactly the quarter that Coach Zabala wanted for his Dominican Republic squad. Not playing the scoreboard, just coming out and showing some effort, showing some energy. Right now they're +5 in scoring here in this third quarter with 1:02 left on the clock. They would love to close this quarter strong and head into the fourth with some momentum. It's their basketball on the baseline, 7 to shoot. They're on the shot clock. Khalees passes to Capien, who hits the side of the glass with a wild three. And Hill finds Gibb in rhythm for three. Delaney Gibb with another trifecta in this one.
She has not cooled down since the beginning of this game. Came off the bench, and she has been the leading scorer in this game, and she's done it from everywhere.
18 points and counting for Gibb. Cauley weaving through traffic was stripped by Sosa. Stay here with Canada. And Cauley can't repeat what she said just now, but I'll paraphrase and said, "You're not calling anything." Here's the Gibb three.
Delaney Gibb. Not the leading scorer in every game. Definitely the leading scorer here today, but man, is she good. And I talked about it, not the most experience on this level, but still in college. And I think having a really good freshman season in college gives you confidence on any stage. And it's showing here today. She's young and hasn't played a ton with the core of this group. But it's not even about her fitting in. They got to learn to fit in with her because she is a superstar, and she's showing that here today.
See if it was a 2 or a 3-point shot.
We're going to check to see if this is a 2 or a 3-point shot. So Kelsey and I are going to hand over the mic to Lauren.
We are reviewing whether the previous shot was a 2-point basket or a 3-point basket. Go ahead and freeze it when she shoots. Give us the angle from the front side. Corner, yep. Go ahead and freeze it when she's gonna shoot. Play. Okay. Good. So I have a 3-point basket. Do you agree? Okay. Okay. The call on the floor has been changed from a 2-point basket to a 3-point basket after review. Yes. After review, the previous shot has been changed from a 2-point basket to a 3-point basket. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Lauren Niamara from the United States, the crew chief here this afternoon. Appreciate all the officials here in Santiago, Chile, wearing a mic for us, be able to eavesdrop in on the conversation when they go to the monitor. Canada basketball, 19 on the shot clock. That 3 giving Delaney Gibb, 18 points on the night.
We should have known that was a 3. Delaney Gibb is so good at knowing her shot. She loves that 45. She's not going to step on a line.
Less than a second difference between shot and game clock right now. Dominican Republic can hold for the final look. Kelise finding De Los Santos down low. Alexander blocking the shot. Kelise for 3. Left it short. And Canada will have a chance at a final look as Sammy Hill finds Russell. Cauley back to Russell for 3. Can't get it to drop. And that's how we'll end the first 30 minutes of play. Dominican with a spurt in the third. Canada respond to close out the quarter. It's 59-33 after 3.
And look, that is the Dominican Republic's best quarter this game, and it's Canada's worst quarter, or second worst quarter, I guess, of the tournament. 12 points for them in that third quarter. You see the shooting percentages there, and Canada just couldn't find any rhythm offensively in that quarter. You're going to see some of the highlights here, but big credit goes out to the Dominican Republic's defense. And like I said, it was the offense, their best offensive quarter for them, and they got a little bit from everyone, a lot from Papillon, as she leads the way for this team with 17 points. Canada had a few buckets of their own, not as many, not even nearly as many as they had in that first half, but again, it was Papillon who fueled the offense. It was the defense for the Dominican Republic that was the star of that third quarter.
So DR able to get some momentum in that third period, and now trying to build on that as we head to the fourth quarter. If things stay the same, we know they'll be playing Team USA on Friday in the knockout round. Canada will take on Puerto Rico if the scoreline stays as is we would need a monumental comeback from the DR to change things, but we'll keep you up to date with all of the permutations if it does get to that point. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. You don't need me to tell you. You can find out the permutations yourself on the Courtside 1891 app. Scores, streams, schedules, so much more. Keep up to date what's happening here at the Women's AmeriCup in Chile. Well, you heard the crowd erupt. Anytime you give away free things, people go crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what it is. Absolutely. I think it was T-shirts because I saw a T-shirt gun out there for a quick second. Everyone loves a T-shirt.
Everyone loves a T-shirt. You and I have even spent money on some of the merch here at AmeriCup.
I'm currently wearing it.
Yeah, we needed it because it was freezing when we got here. Here in South America, it is autumn.
So Chile is a little chilly.
Yeah. Kelsey with the punt. Stick around for that. The rest of the fourth, she will...
I'll do my best.
Yeah, she'll do her best. Start of the fourth quarter. Canada with the basketball. Swords off the bench and onto the score sheet with that jump shot.
Swords reminds me of a younger Delaney Gibb. So good from the perimeter. Great at finding her spot right there. Doesn't need it to be a three-pointer, but...
You're making me laugh with that one because they're probably months apart.
Well, younger and experienced on the international stage.
Fair point. Canada's defense again causing another turnover for the Dominican Republic. There's Nell Fortner. You heard her spirited in that huddle. And you called the game with our broadcast partner, Amy Audibert, between Canada and Brazil. You saw that fourth quarter where Canada really struggled offensively. That allowed Brazil to win that basketball game. And we started seeing that a little bit for Canada. There was a drought there in that third quarter where they really couldn't find the hoop. They were able to unlock it and eventually get to double digits in that quarter, but that is something that Canada will have to try and rectify if they plan on standing on the podium.
Yeah, you hope that doesn't become a pattern, especially moving forward when you're facing stronger and stronger teams and it's, you know, one game and you're done and then you get into gold medal games. And we mentioned Canada in the last three AmeriCups have had every medal, silver, gold, and bronze. And so expectations are so high with this Canadian team that you can't afford to go on droughts where you're scoring 5 points or you're scoring 12 points in a quarter.
Back-to-back great defensive possessions that time for Canada, leading to a shot clock violation that time as Cabayen's heave from half court didn't touch the rim. And there's Delaney Gibb who will wait to inbound the basketball. Well, the referees are coming together now. And Claudio Osorio Vargas saying it did indeed touch the rim. And because it was an inadvertent whistle, we'll have a jump ball. They'll go to possession arrow, and it is in favor of the Dominican Republic. So it will be Dominican basketball after all of that. Well, Fortner wants the explanation.
Well, I can see assistant coach Carly Clark on the bench saying that it would be a shot clock violation there, and I think they're looking for the review on that.
I think they might call and challenge it as the officials again huddling up.
We mentioned the officials and how amazing they are from all over the Americas, and it's their job, of course, to get everything right. These games matter, and we mentioned the implications of this game, win or lose, and by how much. Of course, it's important, and they do such a good job at coming together, talking, seeing what they saw from every single angle. And this is Lauren from the USA, one of my favorites here. And hey, she's the crew chief, is she?
Yes, she is. And
she makes the final decision.
And just overruled her partner, Claudio Osorio Vargas, and did indeed deem that it was a shot clock violation. That's why Canada has the basketball. So possession hour still in favor of the Dominican Republic if we do have a jump ball at some point here in the fourth. After all that, Canada turned her over.
And you know, it's a turnover you don't often see, especially between Shea Colley and Kayla Alexander, because they've played together internationally together for so long. They played in Spain together or in France together professionally. They've played their whole lives together. So, you know when Kayla's going to roll, you know when she's going to pop. And so a miscommunication, a breakdown on Canadian offense that just, it seems like nothing is going right for Canada on the offensive end right now.
The most dangerous player sometimes is the inbounder, and Rodriguez almost ended up with a wide open layup. She missed it, and De Los Santos couldn't keep it in bounds. And Canada will gain possession here.
That's Manuela Rios' favorite saying. The most dangerous player is the inbounder. She's knocked it off the back of 2 of her defenders in 2 different games.
Yes, Manuela Rios, the starting point guard for Colombia.
She actually did it to the mascot as well. If you're on social media, check that out.
Everyone falling victim to Manuela Rios's shenanigans on the baseline. Rodriguez top of the key. They want to get it to Capayen, but Gibb is all over. A lot of dribbling for Rodriguez here on this possession. Swords not making it easy for her. Morton on the up fake. Left it short, followed her own, and then was fouled by Cauley. Cauley's picked up a couple of awkward fouls here in this game, and that will be her 4th. And she'll hit the bench. And that will allow Egypt and Dame Wilson to check back in for Team Canada. As Coach Zabaleta looks on, as Joanna Morton, who played last season in the 2nd division in Spain, averaging 16 points, 7 boards, and 2 dimes. The oldest player on the national team, has been playing, as Kelsey mentioned in the first half, since '03, and has played coming into this tournament 79 FIBA games over 18 events. A lot of experience with Morton as Swords skies in for the transition bucket the other end. Little Santos rejected by Kayla Alexander. Couldn't keep it in bounds as a smart play there by Reynoso, knocking it off of her knee.
That is the heart, the effort, the second opportunities that Reynoso is so well known for in this tournament. All 3 3/4 of the games that Dominican Republic has played, she has been so instrumental to the success of the offense and defense of this team. May not show up in the points per game, but she needs to be on the floor for this Dominican Republic team, and she's such a good matchup against Kayla Alexander in this one.
Dave Wilson using the Kayla Alexander screen. Swords with the entry pass to Kayla Alexander, doing the work before the ball got there.
Kayla Alexander, we continue to talk about her experience, but experience in basketball as a whole, that is just a really smart play. Gets the one step over Reynoso and able to keep her in front as they dish it long, and then Reynoso, there's no recovering from that.
Turnover there in the corner by the Dominican Republic. As now Fortner looks on, her team under 7 minutes away from moving on to the knockout round and a date with Puerto Rico. As Alexander showing good footwork underneath. Missed it. Egypt with the offensive rebound. Delaney Gibb now driving, pulls up, rejected by Reynoso.
There we go, Reynoso with another stop for the Dominican Republic. She looks exhausted, not quite making it past half court, and a little frustrated that her defensive prowess, her effort on the defensive end doesn't result in something on the offensive end, but she is a force down low.
Punching that Delaney Gibb shot attempt. Still playing hard despite the score. Here's Gibb. Watched by Capayen. Capayen reaches. Gibb blows right by her. Tries the up and under. Can't get it to drop. Dave Wilson. Gibb from her office. Indeed, and the foul. Delaney Gibb on fire here in Chile.
Delaney Gibb makes the 3, gets absolutely tackled onto the floor and still able to finish her shot. Look at this, eyes on the rim. You don't see it from that angle, but she's on the floor at this point. Take another look at this.
Yeah, submarined on that 3-point attempt by Reynoso, and you see the aftermath there. It happened right in front of us. You can hear the thud as Gibb hit the floor. And as the basket goes through, it's possession for Canada. So an opportunity at a 6-point trip for Team Canada right now. Egypt down the lane. And that's a jump ball. And as we mentioned earlier, possession arrow in favor of the Dominican Republic.
I like the continued effort for Dominican Republic. Of course, the game is never over. 68-34. feels like a lot to come back from, and they have not given up whatsoever. And you said it with Canada, not only just getting ready for yourself in this game right here for the final 5.5 minutes, but also just sharpening your axe for the rest of the tournament, because neither of these teams are out. Everyone has punched their ticket to the next round, and so you want to work on yourself at this point. And so getting that momentum going into what could be a game against USA for the Dominican Republic, you can't let go. You want to continue. And you see even Johanna Morton on the bench right now, willing her teammates forward. This one might not be over. It might be. I don't know. I'm not on the floor for the Dominican Republic, but the tournament isn't for them.
Kelly's probing. Kicks it back out. Caballé penetrating the zone. Finds De Los Santos, who has a soft touch around the rim.
That's a player
with the strip, and it's going to go the other way.
Yeah, De Los Santos is a player that can get going for this team. That was the third player in the big three that I keep dubbing for every team, but the third leading scorer for this team. You want to be able to see some points on the box score from her tonight. Take away the score. Let's say it's 0-0. You want to have her going in with confidence into the next round.
The next round will start on Friday the 4th of July against Team USA if things stay the same right now. Day Wilson with numbers. Wallach kicks it back out. Good ball movement for Canada. It's an open three for Day Wilson.
That's a play where Canada is just having fun. And I think we hear that a lot with coaches. Basketball is still a game, and you got to have a little fun. Ball movement is fun. Getting open shots is fun. And so you lock in on the defensive end, and then you can go have a little bit of fun on the offensive end. So Canada wants to get a stop here so they can continue to get that easy looks, that ball movement on the other end.
Shot by Abreu, no good. Last touch, they say, by Wallach. And no, they reverse the call. It's going to go the other way, Canada basketball.
Hey, I have a fun fact.
Go ahead.
The lady inbounding the ball who just did, Wallach. It's her birthday today.
It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Tara Wallach. That's a nice little birthday present.
Yeah, a win would be a great birthday present for her. They could stamp that second spot for them moving into the knockout round. And I think if she had a birthday cake this morning, that's probably what she closed her eyes and wished for as she blew out the candle.
Egypt with the lay. Give Canada 73 points here in this basketball game. If anyone knows a thing or two about a wish, it's you. I've gotten a text every time 11:11 hits the clock.
He's never replied.
The three by Abreu off the mark, and we'll go the other way. Well, if I tell you my wish, it won't come true, isn't it? How it works?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm keeping it to myself. Potter,
birthday girl gets to inbound it.
Yeah, she does. Potter and Becker will check into the game for Team Canada. Swords and Egypt will hit the bench. That might be the last we see of both of them. So on the floor for Team Canada, Day Wilson, Potter, Wallach, the birthday girl, who's on the rock right now, takes the three, is off. Delaney Gibb and Becker. For the Dominican is Caballé, Sosa, Los Santos, who takes that jump shot and hits. Rodriguez and Abreu.
Hillary De Los Santos, just her second bucket of the night, 4 points for her, but it's a good time that they're coming because, again, you want to use that momentum going into the next game. So if she can see the ball go through the hoop for her a few times in this fourth quarter, you hope that stays with her moving forward into the next game.
10 points, 11 boards, a double-double for Kayla Alexander.
And that's the big three from Canada. I'm going to name a big three on every team, so just let me add it.
Yep.
That's the big three for Canada. And I'm not looking at stats. I'm not looking at scoring, although they are some of the top scorers. But in terms of leadership for this team, and it's what a young roster needs, those are the three that you're going to rely on a lot moving forward in this one. Not this game necessarily, excuse me, but this entire tournament.
Potter gets fouled. She'll go to the line. Now, are you, me, and Amy the big three here? For FIBA Media?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Goes without saying, I guess.
Come on.
Coach Zabaleta leading on the LED board. Looks pretty relaxed as his team is 3 minutes away from a date with Team USA. And Potter knocks down her first. playing in Serbia last year for Crvena Zvezda with 14.5 points and just under 9 boards. That is a physical league over there in Serbia.
I mean, she's got the body to be physical. She's 6'5", but she's solid as a rock. And you can see it. She anchors this zone defense right now. If anyone has the nerve to drive against her, you'll see them just bounce off.
That was a good contest that time by Potter. Gibb on the drive, poked out of her hands by Morton. They'll stay here with Canada. Wilson will inbound. Gibb with her back to the basket. Potter top the key. The birthday girl on the block. Can't get it to go. Gibb tried to tip it back out. It lands in the hands of Rodriguez. Rodriguez uses the De Los Santos screen. Looking to probe the defense. Hodge for 2. Not there, and Becker with the rebound. Look at Potter run the floor.
And that's what a good big does so well. Runs rim to rim. Doesn't look at anyone else. You go straight from the defensive rim right to the offensive rim. And if you're a guard, you gotta feed the big down low because it's often a really good shot.
Faye Wilson did just that. The foul there is going to be called on Gibb. And that will send De Los Santos to the line for 2.
The difference between this possession that results in foul shots and the possession before that resulted in a turnover was that the Dominican Republic was moving. A really stagnant offense against a zone like they had in that last one allows Canada to just kind of sit there, and they cheat and they don't have to move and they don't have to make a decision. This time with De Los Santos, every single one of the 5 blue jerseys was moving. They used ball movement, and it helps Hilary De Los Santos see it go through the hoop a little bit more, which we like to see. She's now got 5 points on the evening and hopefully can carry on that confidence into the next one.
Yeah, the next one that Kelsey mentioned will be against Team USA on Friday, as Wallach, trying for the 3rd time, couldn't get to fall through. 90 seconds remaining in this basketball game. Canada will have a date with Puerto Rico on Friday in the quarterfinals, as Abreu spinning in the lane with the lane. Here's Wallach again in the lane. Good footwork, that time drawing the foul, and go to the line for some free throws.
Tara Wallach is so tough in that last possession with the 3 offensive rebounds. She had 5 blue jerseys surround her. She was the only one down there, and that just highlights and showcases her toughness as she goes to the line. She's got 8 points right now, and for her birthday, she wants double-digit scoring, so here she is with a chance.
She had 2 provincial titles back in high school in Surrey, British Columbia, and in the second of the 2 title games, scored 29 points and pulled down 23 boards to secure it.
Sheesh. You know, she also finished her college career over at Washington State. We're doing fun facts about her.
Why not?
As the leader.
It's her birthday, after all.
Yeah, it's her birthday. It's all about Tara. She finished in the program as she finished her college career as the program leader in minutes. 4,012 minutes. The only Cougar to ever surpass 4,000 minutes. So this tournament's nothing for her. She's not tired.
Not at all.
This is a jog, a light morning jog for Tara Wallach.
In fact, she shouldn't be tired at all. They had the day off yesterday, and they'll have another day off.
She didn't have. She ran a marathon on her day off.
She might have. She's in great shape.
Yeah, it's an unconfirmed source, but
yeah, okay.
I heard it somewhere.
I know who did not run a marathon. Yours truly.
It's for tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's our day off tomorrow.
Don't know about that. They will sit at the line for 2 after being fouled. I have my eye on steak and wine. Actually, our partner, Amy Audibert, actually has 12 hours of fun booked for us. So we don't really have a choice.
That's crazy.
Anything. It is. But
it's a 12-hour marathon.
Yeah, there you go. That is a marathon in itself. Ball last touched by Potter. So the Dominican Republic with a couple of opportunities now to try to close this game with 2 good looks at the rim. And to work on their zone offense as Canada remains in that 2-3 zone. Abreu for three. Indeed.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? 5 points for her. They all come in the fourth quarter. Why the heck not?
Day Wilson. Wallet moves it quickly. Potter, good seal. About a two-second difference between shot and game clock. So this could be the final possession of the game.
A really underrated, impressive move by Canada here is the communication on the defensive end as they go back for their last possession. They're obviously going to win this game. It's 82-44. There's 30 seconds left to go, and you see how loud they are. Just creating those habits as you move forward into this tournament.
Morton splashes one home with .1 on the shot clock, and that's how we'll end this basketball game. Canada with an impressive performance in their final game here in pool play, an 82-46 win over the Dominican Republic. And this will set up a date with Puerto Rico here in the quarterfinals for Canada. And the Dominican Republic will look forward to playing the United States here on Friday.
Yeah, Canada dominated in almost every statistical category. You look at the score, of course, 82-46, but 37% from the field, 33% from three-point land. Most impressively, 24-2 in the fast break column, and 51 points off their bench.
Wow.
I think is what impresses me the most there. And again, that's led by Delaney Gibb, who came off the bench for 21 of those points. She was unstoppable throughout the entire game.
Let's take a look at Delaney Gibb and the rest of Team Canada clapping their way off the court. The Dominican Republic getting some love themselves as they end pool play. And here is the Team Canada victory photo. The first Dominican Republic leaving the floor. There's the Team Canada victory photo. I'm not a liar. It was happening.
He's not a liar.
And Team Canada now will look forward to playing in the knockout stage, as will the DR, which will happen on Friday. So rest day for both these teams, well, for every team here at the tournament tomorrow, and we'll get back to action on the 4th of July. With Team Canada and Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Team USA. By the way, the other matchups that we can look forward to in the quarterfinals, Brazil will see Mexico, and Colombia will take on Argentina, which should be fun. Best plays from the fourth quarter are all yours as you see Team Canada and Swords get to the basket that time. And it was a really dominant performance for Canada. They have some kinks to work out, though, Kelsey, as they head now to the knockout stage where competition is going to be much tougher as they cross over and play Puerto Rico on Friday.
Yeah, we saw a weakness against Brazil, which Brazil can bring a weakness out in anyone. But then they highlighted that again against the Dominican right now, and that's taking quarters off. And they're not going to be able to take any quarters off moving forward into this one because, like you said, competition gets tougher and tougher and tougher moving forward with more implications. They got a really tough matchup coming up against Puerto Rico. A high-scoring team, a quick team. But Canada's roster is talented enough, their chemistry is good enough, their coaching staff is great. As you see here on display with some of these highlights, Canada is talented from 1 through 12. Anyone can do it. It was Delaney Gibb tonight that led the way for Canada, but there's a lot of players who can score, including that player right there who dished it out. She's going to end with 10 points. Tara Wallach, 10 points, 7 rebounds tonight. Canada didn't need it from their stars tonight. They got it from their bench, 51 points from their bench, like I mentioned, but you're going to need a lot more offensively moving forward in Group A.
The final Group A standings right there, up to date. Brazil 4-0, top of Group A. Canada lock in the second spot after losing to Brazil. Argentina 2-2. They will be seed number 3, and the Dominican Republic will be seed number 4. El Salvador eliminated from competition. The knockout stage is coming up next for these two teams. And we can't wait to bring it to you. There's still one game remaining here in pool play. We also can't wait to bring that to you as Puerto Rico will take on the host Chile. Stick around for that one right here on the Courtside 1891 app and wherever you're watching. For Kelsey Wright Johnson, I'm Carlin Gay. So long from Santiago.